Hello YouTube and Bitcoin Cycle Analysis members. I would like to take this opportunity to share with you certain indicators that could possibly help you decide if at all Bitcoin has reached a bottom in this bear cycle. So I will cover the Bitcoin cycle band, the 200-week moving average, the RSI for the week chart, and the day chart as well, and also the pi cycle bottom indicator. Okay, so I will also share with you my opinion on whether the final capitulation in this bear cycle has actually occurred. So let's first discuss about the 200-week moving average and as well as the Bitcoin cycle band. The 200-week moving average is of course the moving average that you see here on the weekly chart. Okay, it's represented by this purple chart here, and now we have prices below the 200-week moving average. Here, every candle is 1 week. This is something which a lot of crypto influencers are talking about, because this 200-week moving average, traditionally, if you look back in the Bitcoin weekly chart, there was actually no one candle for Bitcoin price action that went below this 200-week moving average. There is no one full body candle below it. Even if you go all the way back to 2015, okay, this is on the Bitstamp, so I don't have this indicator all the way back further than that. But looking at the bear cycle of 2015, we do not have any one big full candle below this 200-week moving average. Okay, so it would mean that if you do have the price action or any body below it, it is actually good buying opportunity. Now, yes, we have a good buying opportunity, but concern here is whether at all going to be another capitulation further lower than the last capitulation that we had back in June of this year, last month. I'm not saying that we will possibly not get another capitulation. The possibility is always there, but looking at how the price action is going, it is possible that whether we're going to get a capitulation or not, prices will still stay below this, most likely stay below this 200-week moving average, as it is forming a tough resistance to break through. You can see about 2 weeks last week, we had the price trying to break above this 200-week, but it just got stopped by this 200-week moving average. So there is a wick for this particular candle. It touched the 200-week and then it came back down. Okay. Most likely, I would think, whether we're going to get a final capitulation or not, prices will probably go sideways for a while, and then it will probably meet this cycle, the Bitcoin cycle band. The cycle band actually consists of the 20-week moving average and the 21 EMA, represented by this red and blue line here. This will continue to come down, and I would think at some point the Bitcoin prices will actually meet that, and then will start breaking not just the cycle band but also the 200-week moving average. Once it breaks both, it needs to come back down, retest it as support, and then from there we will see prices slowly going further north. Move on with the RSI on the weekly chart. If you had attended my Bitcoin cycle workshop, Uh, you should have remembered that on the weekly chart, I do refer to the RSI 14 to help us decide whether we have reached both the Bitcoin bull cycle peak and also the Bitcoin bear cycle bottom. Interesting to note that now currently on the RSI 14 on the weekly chart, the RSI indicator now not only has it gone below the 30 level, which indicates that this is one of the major capitulation in the final capitulation, but also note that the RSI 40 indicator actually is starting to go back, or potentially by this week or next week go above the 30 level. So going back above the 30 level may indicate that this capitulation, the final capitulation, could actually be coming to an end, and prices will start going sideways in the capitulation phase. Because if you were to go back looking at past final capitulation events in the, let's say in the past bear cycle, you can see here it touched, and upon touching that 30 point and going above the 30 point meant that prices, the final capitulation event was actually over. Besides the weekly chart, we can also look at the daily chart. So I'll change this to the daily chart. And on the daily chart, one indicator that a lot of crypto influencers refer to for Bitcoin also will be the RSI. And for the same RSI, it is notable to say that when this RSI 14 goes above the 50 level, then prices will start surging a lot. So if you are to look at the current price now, the RSI indicator is actually touching the 50 level, and it has potential to break it. We don't want it to be a fake out, so we want a clear breakup and then come back down, test the 50 level, and go further above after that. Let's look at some clear examples of further clean break. Okay, so here is one example here, a breakup above the 50 level for the RSI, and you see prices going much higher. Here's another example, break above and prices go up further. And if you are to see here, just after the COVID crash, a break above here and prices go up. And another good example would be here. This is the end of the last bear cycle, and once we had the final capitulation, and once prices click above the 50 level here, and you see prices go much higher. Okay, let's talk about the pi cycle bottom indicator. For this particular indicator, we go back to the weekly charts, and on the weekly chart, okay, I have already installed the pi cycle bottom indicator on my trading view chart. And just for your info, the pi cycle bottom is actually a cross between the 471 moving average and the 150 EMA. So on the indicator, it has actually, on this week itself, we have a indication here that the bottom should be in by this week. Okay, but because this week itself has not actually ended, We can't really tell for sure that in the next 1 or 2 days whether prices will start crashing even lower than this capitulation that we had last month. Okay, but looking backwards, we had the pi cycle indication here back in the December of 2018. It was accurate to the week. Okay, so you can see it's this candle here, the final capitulation, and even in the bear cycle before that in 2015, the final capitulation actually occurred on this particular pi cycle bottom indicator here. Okay, so I would think it doesn't really matter whether this will be accurate to the week, but assuming that this was actually the final capitulation, I would think it's close enough. Okay. Now, so my take on, don't take this as financial advice because this is my own opinion. I would think there is a slightly higher chance that the final capitulation actually has already occurred, which is this itself, the 13th, this June of this year, which is last month. This was actually the final capitulation. It went all the way down to $17,000. Okay, moving on. Yes, prices may go sideways, but I think chances are slimmer now as time goes by that prices will go further than this $17,000. But it's not a guarantee. For me, it doesn't matter at all. I think what matters is as long as the prices is below the 200-week moving average, it is a good buying opportunity. So as far as any investor is concerned, we should look in the longer time frame. If you are buying into Bitcoin now, I would appeal that you do not take this as a trade, but rather for long-term investment purposes. Okay, this is my own take. Don't take this as financial advice. Do your own financial research and do ask your own financial advice. Even after you decide to buy in, if at all there is going to be another capitulation lower than this, then you just have to dollar cost average. Hold on to your Bitcoin and wait for the higher Bitcoin prices later. It's a very good chance that Bitcoin price will surge way higher than this after the Bitcoin halving in 2024. So you should try to hold your Bitcoin as long as you can. Okay, so this is my personal take. Next, we have Michael Saylor to explain why Bitcoin will ultimately replace certain investment assets despite its cyclic volatility.
I think it'll go up forever, right? I mean, I think the Bitcoin is going to climb in a serpentine fashion. It's going to advance and come back, and it's going to keep climbing. I think that the volatility attracts all the capital into the marketplace. And so the volatility makes it the most interesting thing in the financial universe. It also generates massive yield and massive returns for traders. And that attracts capital. Like we're talking about the difference between 5% return and 500% return. Mm-hmm. So the fast money is attracted by the volatility. The volatility has been decreasing year by year by year. I think that it's stabilizing. I don't think we'll see as much volatility in the future as we have in the past. If we look at Bitcoin and model it as digital gold, the market cap goes to between 10 and 20 trillion. But gold is defective property. Gold is dead money. You have $1 billion of gold that sits in a vault for a decade. It's very hard to mortgage the gold. It's also very hard to rent the gold. You can't loan the gold. No one's going to create a business with your gold. So gold doesn't generate much of a yield. So for that reason, most people wouldn't store $1 billion for a decade in gold. They would buy $1 billion of commercial real estate property. And the reason why is because I can rent it and generate a yield on it that's in excess of the maintenance cost. So if you consider digital property, that's $100 to $200 trillion addressable market. So I would think it goes from 10 trillion to 100 trillion as people start to think of it as digital property.
What does that mean in terms of price per coin?
At 500,000, right? That's a $10 trillion asset. At 5 million, that's a $100 trillion asset.
So you think it crosses $1 million, it can go even higher?
Yeah, I think it keeps going up forever. I mean, there's no reason it couldn't go to 10 million a coin, right? Because digital property isn't the highest form.
We hope that you have enjoyed this insightful video report. Please give it a like and do share it with your friends. To explore further on profitable Bitcoin analysis, please check out our live Bitcoin seminars and webinar events. The link access to the event platforms are listed in the description of this video below.